Good morning. So today I'm going to share with you another book about World War II. Yesterday we read the story of Rose Blanche, a young German girl who actually was living in Germany at the time. And we kind of saw her perspective, what she saw going on. She wasn't involved in the war. She wasn't Jewish, so she wasn't taken captive. But today we're going to read a story called The Harmonica, which is written by Tony Johnston. Okay. And it's written from a different perspective. Okay. The last time when we saw Rose Blanche, we kind of saw the window with her looking out. Okay. And if you remember in that book, we saw the barbed wire fence. But in this one, it seems as though we have a boy who's dressed like everyone else. Okay. He looks the same as all of them, and he looks like he may be behind that barbed wire fence. So we're going to see a different perspective here, okay? Instead of seeing someone who was trying to help the people behind the fence, we're going to see what life was like for those people who were taken and put behind the fence. There are some great examples of figurative language here, as well as symbolism. Okay, so we're going to be using this book for our historical fiction unit. Okay. I cannot remember my father's face or my mother's, but I remember their love, warm and enfolding as a song. There's two things I notice here already. One, this is written in first point of view. We see I, my, so this must be the young boy telling his story. Okay, I'm also noticing metaphors. He says he remembers their love, warm and enfolding as a song. So he compares their love and how it made him feel to the way songs make him feel. Singing was like breathing for us. For a time, the only music in our house was our own voices. My father's, my mother's, and mine. So off key, we could crack crockery. Crockery would be like pots and things. So there's a simile here. Okay. Singing was like breathing for us. Think about what that may mean. Then the melodies of Schubert soared into our home. Freed from the neighbor's gramophone, we sang and we listened to the gramophone's sweet notes, and we lived our lives. I had dreams of music. A piano was my heart's desire, a piano for playing Schubert. But like the composer, we were poor as pigeons. Even so, one evening, dusted with coal from the mine where he worked, my father came home and slipped a silvery gift into my hand, a harmonica. On it was his charry fingerprints. So I'm already noticing a lot here about our speaker's family. We noticed that dad works in what would be a coal mine, okay? But he also says we were as poor as pigeons. So they may have been living in poverty, but nonetheless, they seemed happy, okay? Music made them happy. Music was a powerful part of their lives. My lips loved the harmonica. Cool as water. At first, my breath panted in and out of its niched sides, like a bellows. I was so eager. Gently, said my father, a smile in his voice, or you will simply blast it apart. I love the colors and the illustrations. Colors can often show us the mood of the story. So pay close attention as these colors start to change, how they darken and maybe show gloominess or sadness, and how they brighten up to show happiness. I wheezed and blew until somewhere in the heart of the harmonica, My mouth found Schubert. Then my mother and father danced together, waltzed over our bare floor. Somewhere outside, a war was raging, but it was far away, a bad dream, leaving us untouched. So they know a war is going on, but it's not really impacting them. They're just happy, kind of like the characters in Rose Blanche were all very happy at the beginning. All the citizens were happy. Notice a color change. I played the harmonica while my parents danced. In our dream, we believed the world to be good. Until there, in the heart of Poland, Nazi soldiers found us. We were Jews, enough for them to take my mother and father from me. Like a lint of kindling, in one stroke they split our family. So here we're comparing the actions of the Nazis to the way you cut wood. Okay, like if you're cutting firewood, the lint of kindling. Kindling is another word for firewood. So they were split apart quickly, without hesitation. Looks like they may have been put on trains or things. How dark and gloomy this is. I was sent to a concentration camp, swallowed, dreams and all down the dark Nazi throat. Barefoot, I labored alongside others, all of us dull-eyed bags of bones, digging a road through snow. With each shovelful of frozen earth, I thought of my mother and father. Were they still alive? I wondered. A bag of bones is an idiom. It doesn't mean they were literally bags of bones, but what do you think would be the best definition of a bag of bones? They were dull-eyed bags of bones. All their dreams swallowed down the dark Nazi throat. Wow, it looks like they were working in the winter, almost looking like slaves a little bit. Often to keep from losing hope, I touched the harmonica, cold inside my pocket. Sometimes I played it to keep from losing hope. I wept when I thought of my father and mother. Wept is another word for cry. I awoke, jolted from my sleep, and I knew my parents were dead. Then I played Schubert, played and played while my heart reeled. The commandant of the camp loved Schubert. By some terrible miracle, he heard of me and sniffed me out. One night he spat, "Play, Jew!" I stood before him, my hands numb with winter. What if I fumbled? What if I ran out of breath? What if the notes rushed from my head? Inside I trembled like a hare crouched in a bush. I had no doubt. If I faltered, I would be dead. Faltered means to stumble or to mess up. So he's fearful. Would you play? I remember what my father told me of Schubert, how he had lived in a bare room with no fire. Though his fingers ached with cold, he wrote his music. Though he ached, he could not stop creating beauty. Though I ached, each night, I, skin and bone boy, played for the commandant. He listened, enthralled. Each night when I was done, he tossed me bread. He worked us, beat us for no reason, without mercy. Yet he recognized beauty. I could not imagine how that could be. I felt sick, black inside, playing music for the commandant, who wore ugliness and death upon his shoulders like epaulets. I felt sick, getting bread while others starved to death. Think about how you would feel if you were just separated from your parents. You knew and had that feeling they were dead. The people around you are starving. You're starving. You're being beaten for no reason, without mercy, which means with uncaring sympathy, no empathy at all. I despised myself for every note, every harmonica breath, until one day a whisper grazed my ear. Bless you. For what? I asked the dark. Schubert. I slipped that into my pocket. Each night, like the very stars, my notes had reached other prisoners. Play, Jew, the commandant spat, night after night. Night after night, I touched the harmonica to my lips. I thought of my father, who had given it to me, of my mother, who once danced, and of prisoners without hope, who might hear the notes and be lifted like flights of birds. I played for them with all my heart. The harmonica started out as a musical instrument for our speaker, something that just he loved, he enjoyed. In the middle of the story, he started to hit a depression, to start to feel really bad because he was playing and getting fed and he lost his parents and all these negative things had happened. But the harmonica actually represented more than just a musical instrument. It represented hope. It gave hope to those other prisoners. It gave hope to him, and it represented memories. Okay? That's symbolism. When an image or an object represent more than what they normally are.